I was really reluctant to enter the world of 4K discs for various reasons. First of all, I thought this is just a bunch of hype, trying to manipulate us poor consumers into buying the films we love yet again. I mean, forget about videotape and Laserdisc. We bought some stuff on DVD. Then they said, no, you should upgrade to Blu-ray, and now to 4K. I thought, this is just endless. How much better is this stuff going to look? Secondly, the cost of 4K discs just seemed way too high to me. But now I've finally begun my 4K journey, and that's the topic for today's episode. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, why I finally decided to join the 4K bandwagon, what problems I encountered, and what I think about it so far. Let's check it out. So what persuaded me to finally get into the world of 4K? Well, I think the main reason was my TV that I recently bought is 4K capable. It's a 65-inch LG OLED C2 television. Loyal subscriber Jarvis pointed out more than once that I'm really not using this TV to its full potential if I'm not getting into 4K discs. So I thought, okay, that makes sense. Now I do stream pretty often. I'm using a 4K Apple TV device to stream with, and let me tell you, that looks consistently excellent. Really, I'm always blown away by how well streaming looks using that device and on this LG TV. Now when I do turn on the Apple TV device, the words Dolby Vision appear in the right hand corner, and I'm not a real techie. I'm not a techie at all, actually, and I'm going to get into this Dolby Vision thing a little bit later in this episode. Other reasons I decided to get into this 4K thing was I already had about 2 or 3 dozen 4K discs already, mainly steelbooks. I kind of was buying steelbooks for a while. I think I'm over that now. And the steelbooks usually came with the film on a 4K disc and on a Blu-ray. One reason I'm over that now is because Best Buy doesn't sell them anymore, so I can't go look at them and say, ooh, this looks cool. So enough of that. And the other reason I decided to get into this is the price of the 4K discs were coming down. So sometimes it was just maybe a $5 difference between getting a Blu-ray version and a 4K version. So I thought, all right, why not do that? Let me talk about what I was using before. The TV I got before this one was a brand new Sony 65-inch LED TV, and I had a lot of issues with that one. I was not happy with that at all. I was always tweaking the picture, never seemed to look really that good. I would get halo effects. The blacks were not deep black in the picture. Sometimes it would jittery when it would move, it would pan over the picture. It was kind of jittery, and worst of all, it would crash, meaning I would go to turn it on, it would start all over again. So all the settings I did at the beginning, went back to the factory settings, had to start all over again. I was always tweaking that picture, never looked that great. And I thought, okay, if I have to reboot this thing 4 times, I'm done with it. Now, all credit goes to Costco. I bought that TV from Costco. I bought the LG I have now from Costco. They came out the same day, the same truck, picked up my old Sony and delivered my new LG. The other thing I was using was this. This is again a Sony. This is the player I had, a Sony multi-region, aka region-free Blu-ray player. It's the BDP S3 700. Not a very expensive player. I think it was maybe under $200. And that player crashed too. What do I mean by that? The disc wouldn't come out. So I put a brand new disc in there that was not cheap. It would not come out. I was pissed. I was getting ready to get a screwdriver and just pry this thing open and pull it out and just trash the whole thing. Fortunately, I didn't do that. Did a little research. And if this has happened to you, by the way, I unplugged the machine. I pressed down the eject and the power button at the same time while I plugged it back in, and the tray opened. That happened about 3 or 4 more times, then it stopped happening. Still, I wasn't that happy with the performance of this machine, and it was humming pretty loud too. I was surprised how, I said, what is that noise? That's the Blu-ray player. My old one never did that, so I'm kind of down on Sony, as you can probably imagine. Now, the 4K player that I just did buy is this one here. This is the Panasonic multi-region again, DPUB820P-K, in case you're curious about the exact model number. Why'd I get that? Again, Jarvis recommended this. I did some research. It seems to be one of the best players out there. So that's the one I got. It was highly rated, so I went for that. Now, I did buy a few new 4K discs to sort of christen or inaugurate this whole new experience. And Amazon had a good deal, 3 4Ks for $33, certain selected titles. So I ended up getting The Shining, The Big Lebowski, and The Thing, 3 films I really love. These were all 3 of these were upgrades from old DVDs that I had. And then I got a few more that had good prices. I got The Fugitive and Poltergeist. And then at Best Buy, probably the last thing I bought there was Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Coppola film. And I'm going to talk about some of these discs in a little bit. Now, I did have a few problems getting everything set up. I had to get the settings right for the new Panasonic 4K player and get the settings right for the TV. So I got a lot of help from YouTube videos and doing a little bit of research online, and then it still didn't seem to be working to the optimum. So I did the LG chat online. They helped me too to get the HDMI set the right way, the external devices, all that stuff, all the settings the right way. And so now it looks like everything's set up correctly. But I did have some issues with some of the discs, particularly this disc of The Shining. Now, a lot of these come with 2 discs. The 4K disc will be the film, and then there'll be a Blu-ray disc with some of the special features. Well, on this one and The Big Lebowski, the Blu-ray wouldn't play. I got a message saying this disc is not compatible for playback, something like that. I even pulled a disc off the shelf that I wanted to watch that I had for a while. Bartleby, this is a Blu-ray on the indicator label. This one wouldn't play either. So again, I was pissed off. This is a brand new player. It wasn't cheap. This thing should just work. Just put it in, it should play it. So a little bit of research, sent a rather heated letter to the place where I bought the 4K player, and the advice was pretty much the same. Even if the disc is brand new, clean it and then try it again. That worked with everything except The Shining. The Blu-ray still won't play on here, and I don't know why. So that was a little frustrating. I did hook up my old player, that old Sony player I showed you, and put in the Blu-ray of The Shining. Worked fine, no problem. So it's not the disc, it's the player. And I think that's ridiculous for a player that was not cheap and it's brand new to not just simply play a Blu-ray disc. So I'm a little paranoid now about every time I put a Blu-ray in, is it going to play it? Am I getting that message again? Do I need to clean it? Will cleaning it work or not? So, we could file all of this stuff under first world problems, right? But that's what we're here talking about anyways. So what do I think so far as 4K quality goes of these 4K discs? Well, for some of you more tech savvy than me, it's going to be obvious, but I think it all depends on the source material, on the elements that these discs are using. The Shining, I looked at a few scenes. It looked okay. I mean, that's a fairly old film from, I guess, mid-70s or so. Poltergeist, let me tell you something about Poltergeist in case you're thinking of getting that. It looked quite good, actually, but there is a warning label on this cover and in an insert inside saying that if flashing scenes bother you or cause seizures in you, you might not want to watch this. And boy, let me tell you, I don't have issues like that, but I think I was developing some watching this because maybe it's the 4K quality, but I'd say about a third of this film, the effects of these bright flashing lights, and it's pretty tough to watch after a while. It kind of was a little nauseating, so I don't know if I'll be able to watch this again, but it did look good. Now, as far as The Fugitive goes, I had read that this was one of the best 4Ks of the year, so it came down pretty low in price. I think it was about 20 bucks or so. And at first I put it in, I thought, this looks terrible. I mean, it showed the skyline at night, and it was not dark black. It was like gray. I thought, this is what a 4K disc looks like. This sucks. But after that, it started looking quite good, so I was quite impressed with that. I would say that as far as my reaction to these 4K discs, like looking at Dracula, for example, this one here, some of it is like, wow, this really pops. The picture really looks incredible through some of the film. Through parts of the other films, like, it looks okay. It doesn't look that great. So I think it's kind of inconsistent with some of these discs, but again, maybe it's the source material. Now, I am a little confused about HDR and Dolby, and maybe some of you guys watching out there can enlighten me about this, but some discs I put in and the HDR logo will show up in the right-hand corner. And I notice on those discs, the colors are pretty intense, sometimes a little unrealistically intense, like facial tones and reds especially. And then other discs I'll put in, it'll say Dolby Vision in the corner. I have not seen it say both. So my impression is a disc will either be Dolby Vision or HDR. I don't know what the difference is. I looked it up. I couldn't get an answer. Can you have both? I couldn't really find an answer. The only consensus I really found was people think Dolby Vision is superior picture quality. So I don't know. Now, as far as older films go, like black and white films as well, which I watch a lot of, some of them look okay. Some seem a little grainier than they've looked on my old Sony player. So I wasn't too happy about that. And then this new Panasonic player advertises that certain Blu-ray discs will be upscaled. So they'll look better on this 4K player than on a regular Blu-ray player. I think that's happened somewhat. I need to play around with it a little bit more still. Now, the bottom line, I think, for all this stuff is once you get some new tech, there's kind of no going back. For example, I got a new car about 1.5 years ago. It's got all the latest tech in it, and wow, my previous car was like 14 years old. So this new car, once you have all that new stuff, you don't want to do without it. So similar with this audio video stuff. As far as the OLED TV goes, I am convinced that's the way to go. I can't see ever not getting an OLED TV. I don't know what QLED is. I don't know if it's better or worse, but I am sold on this OLED technology. It's incredible looking. Every time I watch it, I'm impressed with the picture. Now, as far as 4K goes, 4K discs, I think the jury's still out on that. I'm still playing around with it. We'll see. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. What has been your experience with 4K discs? Hopefully, one reason I want to do this video is in case you're thinking about doing it, maybe this will give you some guidance or help give you some advice. Or if you can enlighten me about some of the issues I brought up, I'd appreciate that as well. I would like to thank the following people who've left comments since our last episode: The Movie Addict, Tina, Martin, Frank, Luminarif, Damian P. Thank you so much for taking the time. Feel free to leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. We are so close to 900 subscribers. We're like 4 away. That I would like to make our next goal 950. So I'd like to welcome our newest subscribers since our last episode. They include Lewis, Jason Fire, Julian, LH, Pongo, Rari Renak, 95, 808 Physical Media, Vin 0413. Thank you so much for subscribing. Subscribing is free. Also free is we are on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link in the notes down below. That's where we leave brief written reviews of other things we're watching that we don't talk about here. Most recently, the films The Blackening, The Fugitive, and Sancho the Bailiff. So check that out too. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. See you next time.